me.
No. Elizabeth Ann said, I checked with her, like, because I said, you're not on here, am I missing something?
Okay, that's fine.
She said they were going to take them at the beginning.
Oh, at the beginning,
Yeah.
okay.
We had our ministers.
secret of life is enjoying passing time. Any fool can do. There ain't nothing to. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. Since we're on our way down, might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause anyone knows that love is the only road. Since we're only here for a while, might as well show some style. Give us a smile, isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's just your point of view. How does it feel for you? Einstein said you could never understand it all. Planets are spinning through space. Smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Some kind of love and ride. I'll be sliding down, I'll be gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? See me sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Good morning and welcome to UUs of Mount Airy. I'm Stephen Workman, and I have the privilege today of co-leading today's service with my fellow worship associate Tim Steyer, while our minister, McKinley Sims, is, as they say in the broadcast business, on assignment. He's preaching today in the UK. And it's an honor for us to be working with our Minister of Music Emerita, Jane Halting, who's assisting with today's music. And as you'll see in the order of service, Jane is scheduled, I lost my place. Jane is scheduled to accompany Jim Cohen as he sings Grateful, which is one of our beloved traditions here, usually on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, as he sings Grateful. However, there's been a change because we only have half of Jane Halting with us today. She sprained her left wrist, so she's a right-handed musician only, and therefore Jim is going to be singing a cappella. But as you know, there are tissues around in the pews, and you're still going to need those probably as Jim speaks. A big thank you to Mike Foy, who's running our AV Tech today. And I have a few brief announcements before we begin, and you're familiar with those, I'm sure. Please silence any cell phones so that we may be as present as possible in this space. Restrooms are located at the rear of this building. They're downstairs, and you can either navigate the stairs to your right or ask an usher in the back of the room to help you with the lift, and that's located on the left in back. We're streaming live, and if you're joining us online, you can toggle on the closed captions on Zoom by clicking the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. This is a UU congregation, which means that we are people of many differences, different faith traditions, or some of us no faith tradition at all. We're different racial identities, different gender expressions, and all different ways of moving in and showing up in the world. And we are people of togetherness who make covenant promises to be together and to act with love for transformation, liberation, and healing. Today's service is a real treat. It's our Wild and Precious Lives, which is also an annual tradition at UU's of Mount Airy. It was introduced to us by our former minister, Kathy Ellis, the first year that she was here with us, and it's become one of the congregation's favorites. This morning, 3 members of the congregation will answer the question posed by Mary Oliver at the conclusion of her poem, A Summer Day, which ends with the words, "Tell me, what is it you intend to do with your one wild and precious life?" And then today, after each of the 3 members answers that question, we'll offer a musical response. And words for the musical response will appear on the screen when the proper time comes. May our gratitude for this time together and our intentions to build beloved community help us embrace one another and to nurture wholeness in ourselves and in our world this morning. Come, let us worship together.
In UU congregations, we light a chalice to celebrate our coming together in love, to mark the sacred space and time of our community and invite the Spirit into our lives. We invite you to light a candle wherever you are today and follow along with us here in the sanctuary as we light our chalice with words from Reverend Betts Weineke. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. Our opening hymn is number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Please sing along at home as loud as you will. Here in the sanctuary, please rise in body or spirit as we sing this hymn together. Thank you. Thank you, Jim and Jane. Part of our being a community is learning to share the authentic and vulnerable parts of ourselves with others, to see and be seen, to know and to be known. We make space today for that sharing, all of which helps to build this congregation into beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people on your heart in need of prayer, good energy, best wishes, and other help. We invite you to get into your body and investigate what emotions you're experiencing, to share them as you feel called, so we can help one another hold our joys and grief, our in-between feelings. We build community by celebrating our good things, mourning our troubles, taking risks, and listening deeply. For our online sharing, we invite you who are on Zoom to share what you're feeling this week and to lift up the names of those about whom you are thinking in the chat. If you would like us to share your joy or sorrow out loud, please include the word share in your message. For those watching us on live stream or after Sunday morning, you can reach Reverend McKinley via email, minister@uumountairy.org. And for those in our sanctuary, we ask that you come up one at a time by the side aisle, pick up a stone or stones for the basket, infuse it or charge it with your joy or sorrow, and place it in a bowl of water where its energy will ripple out to be held by all of us. This morning, we invite you to take a moment to witness how your stone nestles next to the stone of others, and how all are surrounded by the water that symbolizes our community's shared grief and joy. If you would like to share something important on your heart, please speak directly into the microphone, and be mindful that we are broadcasting in the internet. All are welcome to participate in any of these ways. And for those who have gathered virtually, Steve will add stones on your behalf. We will now commence.
Good morning, I'm Deb. I have mixed feelings about Thanksgiving this year, and I'm wondering if I'm not the only one. I'm excited about seeing family that I love and that are easy for me to be with. And I'm sad that I have people in my family that I really can't share much with right now. Things are tough. I think a lot of us live in families now where there's some polarization based on the last election and before, and I'm one of them. So for all of you who are kind of struggling with that same weird place, I hold you in my heart. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sharon Fisher. I have a mix of joys, gratitude, and mixed emotions. I spent the last week at my sister's in West Virginia. She's still recovering from her stroke. It's going to be a long journey, but she needed help to get to doctor's appointments and handle other personal things and get groceries and fun things like that. But I kind of appreciate the healthcare workers she's finally gotten to help her, because she finally understood why it was important to do the OT and the PT and all those different exercises, and why she shouldn't be on the road yet driving. which is a huge frustration to her, especially in West Virginia, where nothing is nearby. At least where she is, nothing is nearby. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bernadette. Come with a lot of mixed emotions. I'll start with, living in the unknown for over a year and a half with Gary going through cancer. And this morning, I woke up and the card I picked was Let Go. And then my meditation that I did was let go of the outcome. And as many of you know, we met with the surgeon on Friday, and I guess we're living in hope that it would be a good next step. And the surgeon sat down and was so kind, telling us this is too much of a risk. I would do more harm than good if I performed this surgery. So we now go back to living with chemo, possibly forever, to keep it from growing. And we will unfold and meet with the oncologist and talk about going forward. But appreciate all your support and love.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I have a sadness, but I find myself at peace with it, which is good. I have a friend of 45 years who's dying of cancer, and she lives in Columbus, Ohio, and I've made various attempts to get out there and see her over the past few months. Then I got COVID, and then my brother got sick in Florida, and I needed to go there, and things just kept happening. And so I contacted them again a couple of weeks ago about coming out in December, and they said that she had progressed to the point where it would just be too hard to have a visit. So I was very disappointed about that. But then her husband kindly suggested I write a letter to her, and I did. And sorry. And then in one of her, periods of consciousness, she wrote a very beautiful letter back. And so I think I'm very much at peace with losing Margie. Thank you.
I'm Sandy Fulton, and I've been a member here for ages, and I didn't even count the numbers today. I got a phone call from my daughter-in-law in California not too long after the election, and she was almost in tears. She was, working out there as trying to get the vote out, same thing I was trying to do here, and we were on the phone for probably 45 minutes. Mostly she was on the phone, and she just wanted to get a lot of it off, because she works for a billionaire big company out in Silicon Valley. And I don't think they were too upset by the election. I don't think any of the billionaires were. But whatever. I learned a lot about her, and what I learned was so good, that they had a tyrant there back in the 80s, the early part of the 80s. I think you may know this. I don't know the name, or if I did, I probably wouldn't even remember it. But the name but this guy was kind of like Donald Trump in some ways. Pardon me for saying that in this house. Pardon me, God. Anyway, the upshot was that she just could hardly deal with it, but she had to tell me that she worked she was one of the students who was out there marching against this man all the time, as much as she could do, and she was there the day he was arrested. And I was so proud of her, You know, what can I say? Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm Linda. I want to send lots of love out to Gary and Bernadette, and also to Barbara Pollock, who's going to be having her surgery tomorrow. So let's all keep her in our hearts and thoughts and prayers, and the Sign Up Genius to help her out when she gets back is in the newsletter. Thank you.
My name is Bruce. To Joy, I have had a very busy semester, haven't been able to see Terry Williams the whole time, and I'm going to be able to see him on Wednesday, so I'm looking forward to that.
My name is Annabelle. I put a stone in for a friend of mine, Larry Light, who died, and he lives in California, so I won't be able to offer my condolences in person.
Hi, I'm Jill, JYL, and I always have to say that because we have another Jill. I've been feeling very down about the election and the results of the election, and I've been avoiding the news because I usually watch MSNBC or CNN, but I've just been streaming murder mysteries. That's better. Truthfully. And 48 Hours, Dateline, and what's the other one? 2020. So anyway, so I did watch it a little bit yesterday or the day before, and I got a little sunshine. I felt a little sunshine from the news, which is Donald Trump went below 50% in the election results. And his mandate that he insists he has was just totally wiped away. His people don't want to accept that he doesn't have a mandate, but once he went under 50, what could they do? Okay. So it was 1.7% difference between Kamala and him, which is nothing. They said that's the third lowest percentage in history, in presidential election history. So I was really happy about that.
And Steve will now add a stone for all of those online and for those unspoken joys and sorrows. And if we may now just have a moment of reflection.
As I mentioned in the welcome a little bit ago, Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day, provides the inspiration for today's service, as it concludes with the phrase, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Ms. Oliver's own wild and precious life came to a close in January of 2019, but she left us the gift of her own voice speaking that poem, and I invite you to listen to that now.
Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Who made the world? Who made the
So we have three members of our congregation who are going to answer that question today. And the first of those is Karen Smith. And Karen, I invite you to come forward now and answer that question for you.
Good morning. I have nothing written down, just to let you know this is not mine. I'm going to say it from my heart. What a question, first of all, to be asked. Because I think life is wild by itself. And hearing the word precious in that sentence, that's something I didn't really can say I grew up with hearing, precious. Maybe for a new baby born, I think that's the most common time I heard precious. But I think that I got to experience and understand why I would say my life is precious, because of the roller coaster that it has been. And I think that's just a major part of life. I don't think you can grow without it, so I wouldn't take anything back. I've learned in my life the importance of loving yourself as opposed to giving all that love to someone else. I think that's a precious thing. I think through all the wildness, and just to give you some example of the wildness, I was very reckless at one time with my life. I didn't care. I still battle with depression, but I don't allow it to make me do it, the reckless things that I did during the time before I was 30, because I didn't care. And through that made me realize, I guess by the time I did turn 30, the importance of I have to find my direction, because I won't be here much longer if I don't. And I thought that was important. And I think what happens in life, when you are lost or feeling imbalanced, you get the right energy that comes around you to help steer you in that direction, whatever that may be. It might be a person, place, or thing. And so at 64, was looking forward to 65, because as Deb was ensuring me that I would get all the perks of being a senior officially, I realized, that's precious too, to like to say, wow, I'm 64. And all the stuff that I did, and all the things I experienced before that, would not to me say, oh, you're gonna make it to 64. But even seeing some of the people that went ahead of me, even to this day, I realize how precious my time is. And I use my creativity to, like my mantra is creativity 365. So as soon as I see a new day, I gotta do something creative. I don't care what it is. I just write in my journal, start a new idea, call somebody, build a new partnership or whatever. All that is precious, because that dash in between the birth and death is really that long a life. That's how long life is. So it's got to be precious. You have to look at it as a precious thing. And you need the wild part. You need that wild to let you know, wow, it's like that. Even though I did this, that, and the other, and experienced that. I mean, I literally experienced someone, putting a gun as close as possible to my body. But I'm still here, because I'm supposed to be here. I experienced setting myself on fire, but I'm supposed to be here. That's wild, I drank and mixed pills, but I'm still here. That's precious. That showed me, all those things had to show me that, life is precious. I'm precious. I don't need to hear it from anyone, per se. I just need to remember those experiences and keep remembering those experiences. Because depression is no joke, mental illness is no joke, whatever that may be, whatever that is to you, whether you personally experience or you the caretaker for someone. But to understand that this road that you're supposed to be on, connects you to all, you right here, connects me to all of you. I'm not here by coincidence. I'm here because that's part of being precious. This is a gift to be in positive, forward-thinking energy is so important. Everybody doesn't experience that. Everybody will not experience that. Everybody will not come in from the storm because that storm is for you to see, to understand that at least you're not experiencing that and that your life is very important. That's why you're still going forward. And you have to go forward unapologetically. You have to continue being yourself unapologetically. You have to love yourself. Since I live alone, I don't always hear that all the time as far as somebody loves me. So I have to say it to myself, I love me. And that's a good thing, because I'm here. And that's a precious thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I mentioned when I was introducing and welcoming at the beginning of today's service that we were going to have a musical refrain after each person told their story. And it's from our hymnal. It's the lyrics that we'll sing are "May I be filled with loving kindness" is the song. And for Karen, we're going to sing it as "May I be filled with loving kindness." Paul Mack will be our next person, and we will sing "May you be filled with loving kindness." And when our third speaker, Portia Hunt, finishes hers, we'll sing that refrain as "May we be filled with loving kindness." So we'll begin now, Jane, with... Again, thank you, Karen. And Paul, I'll invite you up now.
Good morning. I have in big red letters here to breathe. So that's what I'm going to do first. I don't think I've had much of a plan of what to do with my one wild and precious life. I feel rather that I've staggered through life, often grabbing at guardrails for guidance and understanding what guided me more in retrospect. That is not in any way to disparage the life I'm leading. In 1969, I was part of a group which destroyed draft files and later took public responsibility in protests against the Vietnam War. In an article from that time, profiling the members of our group, the writer described my lawyer's failed attempt at a defense based on a higher purpose through my testimony, but said that the courtroom was presented, quote, with a candid view of a young man scared to death of going to jail, but would not back down 1 inch to save his neck. I ended up serving 1 year of a 3-year sentence. Doing what I thought was right, grounded in a little understood idea of nonviolence, guided me over the first couple of decades of my life. In the 1990s, love came into my life in 2 ways. In 1996, I married my wife, Jenny, and thankfully, with much help from her, over the years came to understand and grow in the love between us. And in 1999, I first attended a service at what was then called Restoration. This community, which I was immediately attracted to, talked of being based on love. And though I considered myself a believer in nonviolence, and despite Martin Luther King having often spoken of the power of love as the basis of nonviolence, I had no understanding of what love meant in its broader context. I don't ever remember using the word in connection with my social justice work, which was so central to my life. I continued to attend here at UU, and then Katrina happened, which led to a totally unexpected experience in my life. I went to New Orleans to do rehab work following the flooding, but the connection with others and acceptance I felt on the first 3 trips stunned me. That sense of connection with others was unique in my life. I've come to think of those trips as gifts that I did nothing to earn, which some would call grace. And it is not lost on me that each of these trips were with various members of the wider UU community. And in retrospect, it has occurred to me that perhaps the connection and acceptance I felt with the UUers I was working with, as well as the connection with the folks in New Orleans whom I met, had in some way something to do with love. I quit attending UU for a while for reasons I honestly am not sure of, but then found my way back here. But not long after I returned, still staggering through life, I came to terms with the fact that I was sexually abused within my family and within the Catholic Church I attended. Clearly, I had to heal my wild and precious life. This realization took me away from attending here because I was being triggered by the services with their similarity to the services I attended as a child. I remember grasping the edge of the pew as hard as I could to keep myself from yelling out loud or running out of the service. But over time, I healed. And I want to tell you how that healing presented itself to me. I play keyboards and sing, and after some time had elapsed since acknowledging the abuse, I mused about making a CD. I had actually made one a few years earlier, which was a wonderful experience, but that's another story. I doubt very much that I will make another CD, but what is important here is what I thought of calling this new CD, With Gratitude. I don't remember the healing process as much as I remember the feeling of peace I felt when I realized with gratitude expressed how I felt about my life. I then returned to attending here. I don't feel that I've ever totally left this community. I first came in November of 1999, 25 years ago this month. During both periods since when I have not attended, I always felt I would come back. Since returning, I would say that the word love has become an even more central here and uttered more often. And within the sense of gratitude, I think there was some way that the word and idea began to mean something to me. Then about 3 weeks ago, while door knocking for Harris, I was walking back to the Roxborough office, and for some unknown reason, I said to myself, do this for love. And something stirred in me, which I really don't know how to describe. So now perhaps I do have a plan of what to do with the remaining part of my one wild and precious life. And I realize it revolves around love. It means deepening my love and striving to be the best friend and husband to Jenny that I can be. and I think it means deepening my commitment to this community. I do not say that lightly. As a child, I was betrayed in my family and my church community. Trust does not come easily. But especially in these times, like all of us, I find myself looking for love and connection. And I'm open to and hopeful of finding that here in this loving community. Thank you.
And now we'll do the second refrain, may you be filled with loving kindness. We have one more person to hear from, but we'll take a little break before I invite Portia forward. And now is the time that we collect our offering of financial resources for the good of this community. We know that there are many ways to give back to this congregation, and we encourage you to find a way that works well for you. For giving of financial support, your money or checks that are put in the plate today will be used to fund the ministries of this church. And any pocket change or any money that you designate as going toward Change for Change will be sent to this month's selected Change for Change organization. And that organization is Lighthouse Family Youth Agency, which is committed to providing temporary or long-term housing and care for girls until they can either be successfully reunited with their biological parents, or when they receive permanent placement with a loving family, or when they become self-sufficient to live on their own. Ushers, please come forward with passing the plates in the sanctuary. And then this is the moment when Jim Cohen will come forward and gift us his voice. And as I mentioned earlier, Jim is presenting Grateful, which he does this Sunday every year.
I've got a roof over my head. I've got a warm place to sleep. Some nights I lie awake counting gifts instead of counting sheep. I've got a heart that can hold love. I've got a mind that can think. There may be times when I lose the light and I let my spirit sink, but I can't stay depressed when I remember how I'm blessed. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. In a city of strangers,
I've got a family of friends. No matter what rocks and brambles fill the way, I know that they will stay until the end. I feel a hand holding my hand. It's not a hand you can see, but on the road to the promised land, this hand will shepherd me through delight and despair, holding tight and always there. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. And in a world that can bring pain, I will still take each chance, for I believe that whatever the terrain, our feet can learn to dance, whatever stones life may sling. We can moan, or we can sing. Grateful, grateful, truly grateful I am. Grateful, grateful, truly blessed and duly grateful. Truly blessed and duly grateful.
Thank you, Jim. I'll invite, now I'll invite Portia to come forward. I told you. And now, Portia, you'll tell us, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Wipe my nose. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. And thank you, Karen. My heart is full. When I thought about this. Okay, I tend to. Okay, here we go. When Tam asked me to do this and I thought about it, I kept thinking, God, it's a menagerie of things that have happened over my life and over our lives. When I answered the question, what will I do with my one wild and precious life? The thought that came to my mind is die. Merge with dark matter and evolve again. They're concentric circles that keep unfolding over and over again. And each time I get to a new place, the old and the new return. In the meantime, I'm 77 years old. So I want to slow down, especially the aging process, and not reverse it. Even though I live in this space where I think I'm going to spring again like I used to. And then my boyfriend appears. His name is Arthur Brightus. And I try to keep him at bay. As I reflect more on the meaning of life, I discover these levels of life. Most people don't know that I'm a closeted introvert at my core. So when I began to look at the various manifestations of self, I know that I can show my public self with ease, where people think I'm an extrovert. And I can express what my thoughts and feelings are with ease, and sometimes inspire people. I know that my real self is rarely seen by others. That's beneath the surface. That's the compassion that I hold and feel for people. And then there's the unfiltered self that I frequently let out with blurts of comedy, like I just told Jim he was a badass. That humor is what drives me and keeps me engaged in life. And then there's my insecure self, the self that hides in me that I don't reveal to other people. Where I ask the question, am I good enough for real? Do they see the blemishes that I feel inside? And I look at those and I began to ask myself, how did I learn the so-called values that I have? The values of loving, the values of seeing myself as loyal, the values of hope. And then I know that those values evolved from pain. If you think about it, I learned to tell the truth by lying. I learned honesty by stealing. When I go back in my life to see the values that my mom tried to teach me, there's always pain connected to learning for me. I try to see beauty in every aspect of life. Things that people say are ugly. And I see God in everything around us. And in seeing that, it uncovers the contradictions that we call good and bad, because really, it isn't. Life continues to evolve and repeat itself over and over. The last couple of months this year, people have been coming into my life that I have not seen in 50, 60 years. It seems like they're coming out of nowhere. And it appears I'm in a life review process. Who am I really? And who are you really? I learned that much of who I think you are is a projection of whom it is I want you to be. It's probably a real reflection of who I am. And sometimes when I fall in love, and I'm madly in love with someone, I discovered that they are playing out whom it is I want them to be and not who they are. That's a hard learning for me. My life experience is no different. Every time I hear someone say to me what their life is about, and I realize that we've had the same experience. Different time, maybe. One friend told me when I was at my 60th high school reunion, a memory that burst open my lying to myself. My lie was, I never had a birthday party until I was an adult. I believed that. And when I saw her, she said, remember we used to go to birthday parties at your house with your dad and your grandmother when you were little? And I thought, who in the hell is she telling me I had a birthday party? That's part of my pity party. I can't hear that. And it blew me away to think that there's so many ways that I have been loved and didn't know it. And we all experience that, don't we? When we find that those little glimmers of hope and love are there. So my goal in life right now is to fully understand what we call our past, to fully understand how we become who we become with all the people in our lives that have given to us, to accept our conflicts as places of growth, which is really hard to do, especially in these times. My focus now is to help the next generation move on and create something different and new, knowing that we will always merge with dark energy.
I'm going to ask Portia to stay up here, and I'm going to call Paul and Karen up. We want to do what the theater calls a curtain call, and I just want everyone to give them the ovation that they deserve. Before I turn the microphone over to Tim, who is going to lead us in our chalice extinguishing, I just want to say that this service every year makes me realize how deep each of us are and how deep all of our connections with one another are. And I think that's why this is the thing I look forward to every fall.
As we get ready to extinguish our chalice and end our time together today, please remember to stick around for coffee hour to chat with folks on Zoom. For more info, you can check the weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursdays for worship schedules, and you can see our website for more important updates. The words to extinguish the chalice come from Edward Everett Hale and may be read or heard aloud as they are shared to your screen. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Our closing hymn is number 1057, Go Lift It Up. Please sing along at home and as loud as you will. Here in the sanctuary, please do what you feel is right.
Let me ask Jane and Jim to stand for your curtain call.
Yes. Thank you all for being with us today. I want to invite everyone to conversation and fellowship after the service. Our benediction for today, Go Boldly by Jean M. Olson. May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, playing your song with all of your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, sing, sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, memes, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities, courage. Be blessed and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.